Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be ranking the Yakuza games based on my own personal preference for each of these mainline Yakuza games. We're not going to be talking about the Samurai games or the Ishin games. We're not going to be talking about Dead Souls uh, because I can't stand Dead Souls. We're going to be talking about the mainline Yakuza games. And I'm going to do my best not to spoil things in this list. But we're going to start with 0. We're going to work our way through chronologically till we get to 7. And we're going to just try and do this the best. Our tiers today are triple S, S, A, B, C, and D. I honestly don't know that we necessarily need a D tier. It will probably just be in those first 5 tiers, but we'll see. Over the course of talking about this, I may decide that specifically one of these games is going in D tier. We'll see. It is well known that I love these games, and it is tough for me to choose between them. This is like playing Kill Your Babies for me. But I do think that some of them stand above the others when it comes to storytelling, when it comes to characters, when it comes to what's going on. So let's start with Yakuza 0. Yakuza 0, the Kiryu side is really solid. I don't think it's quite as good as like Kiwami or some of the other games later on the list, but the Kiryu side of Yakuza 0 is really solid. You get an incredible moment at the car with him and his good friend. I'm going to do my best not to spoil too much. That moment is incredible. But what makes Yakuza 0 really shine for me is not the Kiryu side, even though it's great and you get Nugget the Chicken, and that probably already would have made it a triple S tier. It's the Majima side, because the Majima side of Yakuza 0 is incredible. The Kiryu side is really good. Don't take this as that I don't like the Kiryu side, but when you give me 6 plus some extras of Kiryu games, I'm gonna focus on the thing that sets it apart. And to me, the thing that sets Yakuza 0 apart is the Majima side. The Majima side of Yakuza 0 is absolutely incredible. It endeared me to Majima in a way that I didn't know that I still needed because I already really liked Majima. But Yakuza 0, incredible game. The Kiryu stuff, again, is really, really good, which already would have made it an S tier, maybe triple S. But the Majima stuff just pulls it above again. Yakuza Kiwami, I'm going to put in S tier. I think Kiwami is a really, really solid game. A great remaster, remake in a lot of ways of the original game. Adding in all of the new features that they added in are really good. It's really, really solid. I still don't love the story of the first game as much as I love some of the later ones, but everything that happens with Kiryu and Nishiki and Haruka and everything is. I just remembered the Haruka ice cream moment. Yeah, we're gonna leave Kiwami in S tier, but it might move up depending. Because again, Kiwami is just really, really good. It's really good. Kiwami 2, I'm gonna put behind Kiwami 1. I think Kiwami 2. I actually might move Kiwami 2 down to A. I think that the stuff that is set up in Kiwami 2 and in Yakuza 2 is super important. I think that stuff is so good, all leading up to that fight against the Tigers and everything going on there, and I'm trying to avoid spoilers. It's really good, but I don't think it's story-wise, to me, it doesn't hit as hard as some of these later games do, and we'll get into why. I think it's really good. We're gonna put it at A because I do think it's really good. It's top of A. So right now, it's only in an A, but I don't love it as much as I love some of these other ones. And this is gonna be a little controversial as well. I'm gonna put Yakuza 3 in B tier, and it may move down. Yakuza 3, I think, is really good, and that may sound completely controversial with where I just put it on this list. But I think it's really good. It just takes so long to get through the stuff with the Good Smile Orphanage early on that a lot of people I know have stopped playing it there. They haven't pushed through and have just skipped it to move on to the next game. I do think that it is a flaw in that game, and if that stuff was cut down, then I think that it would be a much better game. Uh, you know, Kiwami 3 hopefully can. I say Kiwami 3, that's probably not happening, but hey, it's really good. The stuff that happens with Kiryu in 3 is really good, especially with the crew from that area. Again, I'm trying to avoid as many spoilers as possible. But I do think the stuff with Good Smile just it takes a while for the story to get going. In a way that some of the rest of these just kind of don't have. Yakuza 4? All right, so we got to talk about Yakuza 4. Um, I have said many times on this channel that Yakuza 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. And I still mean that. Yakuza 4 is not perfect. It has its big issues. Tanamura's stuff is pretty weak for the most part. But Akiyama's stuff is really good. And where it really shines is Saejima. Saijima's stuff in 4 is some of the best in the series. Saijima's moment in the ring, where he talks about the price of killing someone, is legitimately one of my favorite moments in all of media. That moment is incredible. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it right now. So, when it comes to story, 4 may have some weak moments, but it has some of the peak moments in the franchise for me. So it has to go in Triple S tier. You also have Kiryu versus 100 guys, which is like, that's a cool fight. That is a fun fight to play through. Um, Yakuza 4 has some really good stuff going on for it. And you have the walk. The walk is sick, man. Yakuza 5, I'm also going to put in S tier. I think that Yakuza 5 is really, really solid. The Haruka stuff is good. I really still, and I get why they didn't, because, again, Haruka, you watched her grow up. They didn't want her fighting people and getting hurt. I get it. But I wish she'd been able to kick some faces in as well. But the rhythm battles with her are really cool. Shinada is a great new addition to the cast. The new stuff with Saejima and Akiyama are great. The stuff with Kiryu in 5 is really solid. I think that stuff is top tier. Um, Again, I think 5 is a great game. I don't really have any negatives for it, but it also doesn't have any moment that really just boosts it straight up to triple S tier for me. I think that the moment with Shinada, oh, I say that though, but the moment at the end with Kiryu and Haruka, oh, that moment's so good. All right, we're gonna leave it at S tier. But again, you should play all these games. 100%. You should play every game in the series. They're all incredible. Yakuza 6 is my favorite game in the franchise. Um, oh boy. Okay, don't cry. Yakuza 6 is my favorite game in the franchise. I love the new characters. I love the new areas shown off. I love, and again, I'm trying to be vague. I'm doing my best. I love the conclusion to this game and the arc of this game. It's called Yakuza 6, the Song of Life, for a reason. I absolutely adore Yakuza 6, and the journey that Kiryu takes over the course of this game is my favorite in the series, as I've already said. It is incredible. I love Yakuza 6. Moments wise, is it as great as some of the others? Maybe not for a lot of people. But there are moments in Yakuza 6 that hit so hard because of the journey the other games have taken. And when you get into the stuff with Yuto, and you get into the stuff with Han Junki, and the slow unraveling of this plot, and the Someo moment. The Someo moment it's incredible. I think about that moment at least once like a week. I just have to sit down and think about that moment with Somea going Yondaime, and it's that moment's so good. You should play all of these games just so you can play Yakuza 6. Honestly, like Yakuza 6 is so incredibly worth it. I love that game, and I'm good. I'm bringing it back. I'm okay. I'm good. Let's talk about Judgment. Judgment is a strong S tier for me. I think that with just a little bit of changes, I think Judgment could have easily been triple S tier. But my complaints are so minuscule that on any other list, it would just already be in there. I think that Yagami is a great protagonist. I think the stuff with him and his past, as you unravel it, is really good. There are some incredibly shocking moments. Kaito is great. I love hanging out at the arcade. Uh, Yagami's style of combat is so different from any other character in this franchise. So like Akiyama is the kick guy, right? But Yagami is like the breakdance kick guy. and it's even still different from the breaker class in Yakuza 7. So like it's nuts how his fighting style works, and I really like it. I think that Judgment is a really, really solid game. And although it gets completely bonkers near the end, so do all the rest of these, you know? So it's still really good. And then Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon, I'm going to put it in S tier. And I'm going to put it above Judgment, but below. No, I'm going to put it above Yakuza 5 as well. Oh, man. Do I want to put it above Yakuza Kiwami? Judgment is such a cool game that has like 3 really annoying flaws that I wish weren't there and that held it back. Um, Judgment, from a story perspective, is incredible. Judgment has one of my favorite stories in the series. Ichiban is an incredible protagonist and a great addition to this cast. I absolutely love him. The stuff with Namba and Adachi is so good. Everybody else, character-wise, kind of gets left in the dirt. The level spike that comes up is really rough. It's really rough. And then there's some stuff that I love that I also recognize is not great. Because some of those boss fights are just really annoying. I love the fights because it represents the characters that are fighting. But I get it, right? You can't just go, hey, you've been breezing through combat for a while. We're going to do a 20 level spike and make these bosses super tough and expect people to just go, all right, yeah, it's Dragon Quest 2. Let's go do it. And that's a big flaw. I think the fact that it's so high on this list, after how much I've talked about how much I love the other games, should show that despite those flaws, the story is still absolutely worth experiencing. All of these games are worth playing, but the story of Ichiban and the Arakawa family is top tier. And were it not for those flaws, would be triple S easily. Now I have to rank them in their ranks. We're gonna leave Yakuza 3 at B because I do think the Good Smile stuff is rough. Yakuza Kiwami 2 can stay at A. Do I want to put Judgment above 5? That moment at the end with Kiryu is really good. We're gonna put Judgment above 5. It would be above Yakuza 7 if it was still called Judge Eyes. Yeah, I think that tier's good, though. I like that a lot. You get to fight a giant Roomba in Yakuza 7. But Yakuza Kiwami it's something special, man. And then these two could... Tanamura, though. Yeah, we're going to leave it like this. Let me know your thoughts on these games in the comment section down below. I don't like having to bring up complaints with any of these games because I love them all very, very dearly. But there are definitely some differences in them. Some of them that shine more than others. And I know that I'm a rarity in that I adore 6. I know a lot of people that thought that 6 was in the lower half. But yeah, these games are all great, and you should play every one of them. Start with 0 and just work your way through. Almost all of them are on Game Pass. Almost all of them are on PlayStation Now. With PlayStation 5, not PlayStation Now, through PlayStation 4. So check them out, absolutely. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And until next time, I've been Trey. This has been The Full Spectrum. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum Yakuza has to offer.